Hello, citizens of YouTube. This is the Geeky Nerd here, and today we're going to be talking about a slight issue and or concern that people may have with their FNX 45 Tactical. So before I get into it, I'd like to send a big thank you out to everyone who has liked, commented, and subscribed on the previous videos. I always appreciate it and always enjoy talking to you guys. If you enjoy this video and like the type of content we have here, please consider liking, commenting, or subscribing. And with the PR out the way, let's get into it. So the FNX 45, I did a full review on the channel. If you want to check that out, should be right here at the end. Should also be appearing right now. But we're talking about the FNX 45 and its one peculiar issue. And that issue, of course, is magazine well flex. So that's kind of shied a lot of people away from it. My short opinion, if you bought a gun that is newer in the 20 teens, don't worry about it. Click off this video. Have a nice day. But if you want to stick around and see why, just hang on to your butts. So the FNX 45 is a good pistol, a lot going for it. One thing, 15 rounds of 45 ACP because they don't make a 46. But with that, you have to weigh your odds here, or stack them up against. One thing that is of concern to some people, with this being $1,200-$1,300 gun, is this. See that? Magazine well flex. So that caused a lot of, it doesn't have any vertical, it's only side to side. A lot of people have a lot of concern with that. Now, why is that? This one guy, gosh, I always forget his name. He does like a backyard shoot. You can look up HK45 Tactical Magazine Well Flex, and you'll see his video is the first one. He's in, I believe he's in Texas. Texas heat, leaves his gun out. And I'm talking about when he can pinch these together, he can touch the sides, which is obviously a big problem. I mean, this thing is like Play-Doh in his hands. Why did that occur? Well, for one thing, left his gun out in the heat. Well, you're probably saying, well, Geeky Nerd, most guns should be okay to be out in the heat. Yes, they should, but some guns are going to act differently. One thing that the FNX 45 had is they make it in tan. With that tan configuration, the tan color obviously absorbs less heat than the black version. Now, he had the black version as well. Now, you're saying, well, that really shouldn't make too much of an issue. Well, it does when it comes to sitting out in the sun and just general temperature getting absorbed into an item. Being black, that's going to absorb a lot more heat just because of the color. It's just darker color. But with that, there is a very specific temperature range that polymers operate in. Now, his pistol worked fine, other than, when he was gripping it, tightly or, not excessively tight, just gripping the pistol. But it still did function, which is, a testament to it. While the issue should never happen in the first place, regardless, you gotta, you gotta pick your upsides here. But with that, like I said, polymer has a very specific range that it operates in. If you deviate outside of the range, that's where things get a little wishy-washy. Now, FN, they do claim, and they do, test their pistols from, the extreme cold to the extreme heat and everything in between, hell and back in half of Georgia. And with that, they did not account for one very specific thing, and that is the dyes that they were using in their pistols. Now, on the tan, it's obviously going to be different than the black. Well, the dye for the tan reacted differently with the polymer than it did with the black. With the black, it actually caused more elasticity in the polymer and for molecular structural bond to be decreased. So factor that in, that the color is actually or changing the chemical makeup of the polymer, together with the fact that it's a darker color, so it's getting hotter, and then also put in the fact that it is a thin sidewall pistol in order to accommodate 15 rounds of 45. You just have a kind of recipe for disaster. Now, HK has fixed that issue. This pistol does not experience that. That amount of flex that you just saw is the normal amount of flex. I have left this out in the heat just for my own, shits and giggles. It's all shits and giggles, so someone giggles and shits. But I have left this out in the summer heat outside. Did check it with the temperature gun. It was 119 degrees, and it wasn't doing anything. It did have a bit more give than that, but nothing too crazy. Now, you can get the magazine to the way. Not sure if it's safe check, but it is safety checked. You can't get the magazine to get stuck in there. I'm talking about I got to bare grip this sucker, and I can't even adjust it with my thumb. Like, I got to grip it so tight, and you can't get it to slightly get stuck. As soon as you release a little tiny bit of pressure, it comes right out. Day-to-day operation, not going to experience any kind of issue like that. It will shoot just right out. So that's one thing that was occurring. Now, again, I was saying if you bought a pistol in the 20 teens, you're not going to have this issue because they did fix the chemical makeup of the polymer. And again, that much polymer flex, I'm not really worried about. And that's just because FN makes different types of polymer. You have different grades of polymer. Everyone makes it differently. It's their own like little secret sauce. On the hard end, like the hard end, hard as a rock, carbon reinforced, all that fun jazz, you're going to have your HKs. Or at least I'm just giving general terms here, guys, as far as pistols that I know are in that spectrum. HKs, the hard as a brick, built like a brick outhouse, tough as a coffin nail. And their polymers are very hard. They're very rigid. But that has its downsides as well. If you look to the incident that they had with, I believe it was I want to say it was a P2000 with one of the U.S. border guards. You guys know this story I'm talking about. It's where a police officer, he fell on his duty arm, and it essentially sheared at this line here. So it pretty much just, at this point right here, it just sheared right off to where he had two separate pieces of a gun. So with that being a harder polymer, it is not as favorable to shock in any type of way or something like that. In the middle ground, I would say you have your Glocks. Your Glocks, they have a minimal flex, but rigidity, they're kind of like the Goldilocks happy medium. Of course, Glock perfection, I know, right? But they're kind of happy medium. And then on the softer end, you have like the FNs. I would say some of the FNX, not Walthers. FN's the only one that I really know that has this type of polymer that I can really compare to. But on that softer end of polymer, FNX have a bit of them. But I hate FNX. I've used them, but I still hate them. But regardless, and for that, you could tell when you pick up the gun and when you smell the gun. I know that's weird, smelling your gun, but you can smell that it has more rubber in it, to where it has less polymer and has a more rubbery co-base infused with it. And with that, of course, you get a little bit more springiness, so a little bit more resistant to shock, but then you have a little bit more flex, a little bit less rigidity. Now, there is no flex, like I said, up and down, and this orientation, but side to side definitely has a bit. Again, not an issue, but if you have an issue spending $1,200-$1,300 for a gun and having that bit of flex and having the off chance that you have a Deathclaw grip naturally and your magazine's failing, then I can't blame you. But for me, it's a non-issue. For the gun, for what it is, for what it does, you really can't beat it. And it all stems from having those thin sidewalls, and also the magazine, when you pick these up, you can tell they're thinner, but that's to fit 15 rounds of 45 without having to detrimentally adjust your grip. I mean, have you ever held an HK Mark 23? It's literally the biggest brick in your hand ever. But to come from that to this, you can see that there's a lot of difference, and you gotta pick your battles. And for what it is, for 45, for being able to have this type of grip with that amount for that price, I'll take the little bit of flex that's in there. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments. If you say I'm crazy, if what have you. Looking for what you guys are thinking, because I kind of put me off at first. I knew that there was rumors about it, so I was eager to get my hands on one. I've had this for just a little bit here, but when I first got it, I was like, "Ooh, is this normal? Is this not?" And I can only find that one guy's video, so I just kind of want to do a follow up to that. So, if you enjoyed the video, please consider liking, commenting, or subscribing. Again, let me know what you guys think. I hope everyone's having a wonderful, awesome, fantastic day. I'll catch you guys next time. See you guys.